in a galaxy far, far away. War! Battles rage across the podcast city. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for jumping in when I need you.
Oh,
As
I'm
the
sorry.
Galactic
Is that what
Cast
this
Troopers
means?
face
I don't know what the
off
fuck this means.
against against the droid troopers of the clickbait army. Two noble heroes search for justice in the senator of good podcasting. Over there, you have Obi. Do you want to be Anna Nick Skybrosia?
I
Does that work
think
for you?
Anakin works.
Nah, that's dumb. Wait, what is my name on the chat again? Oh, Puke Crywalker. I want to be
You
Puke
sound like a garbage
Crywalker,
pail kid
and you
of Star Wars.
and you can be Darth
Darth
Snickius.
Darth Tater.
Darth Tater? That's not bad. That's like, wait, isn't that a thing you can buy?
That is
Isn't
a
that
Mr. Potato Head.
Head?
Okay, I'll be Darth Slater, and I'm like Christian Slater, but in a Darth Vader
All
costume.
right. You're Christian Slater playing Darth Vader, and I'm like a garbage pail Luke Skywalker who's always
Can I be
throwing up
Darth
and his face
Skater
is
and I
all
wear
red.
my helmet backwards and I
Oh man, you can't see anything? That's not how helmets work. I wear my helmet backwards and I bump into shit all the time.
Dark
Can I
Skater?
be Dark Skater's pretty dope. Will the Galactic Republic face off and find out? Do 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 do.
The taxes have been raised on planet Glipglop. We must now move to our fictional action heroes as they negotiate with the council to determine the tax rates for monopolies on spice.
Oh, Jedi, you may not raise 0.6% tax on all domestic import out of North Regional Area.
That's what the prequels are like if you've never seen them.
Well, no, actually, you are incorrect. Nick, I'm sorry to say this because my alien didn't have an overtly racist voice.
But you
so
know,
it couldn't
still
quite
kind
be
of
like
did.
the prequels. It couldn't be like, I don't look like a caricature run through a Mass Effect character generator, so I don't know.
Well,
Hey, we're talking Star
we're talking
Wars
Star
today.
Tours today.
We're talking Star Wars today.
Not cool, James. Not cool.
I'm pre- I'm pretty mad. I'm pretty mad. I saw a post today, and it was tag somebody you'd maul if you were a bear. And I tagged you, our friends Andrew, Nick, and Mike, and I wrote, I'll fucking kill you. And then Instagram removed my comment and gave me a strike for threatening you. On the comment, on the post that was tag somebody that you'd maul if you were a bear.
Hey, that's strike one, buddy. That's strike one.
Mm-hmm. But they told me, don't worry, I'm allowed to use the rest of my features. Thank God I haven't been limited from commenting or liking on posts.
God forbid you're limited from sharing reels.
Yeah, right? From driving up. Yeah, listen, that would probably do you. It would probably lighten up your Wi-Fi
My
load a
phone
lot.
would
I'm
last
convinced
2
I'm
hours
eating up-
longer during the day.
You're so ungrateful. You're so selfish
Dude,
and mean.
I don't even engage with Instagram reels. I refuse to do so. That's not what Instagram is
Out
for.
of principle.
That is what TikTok is for.
I'm inclined to agree. Also, before I forget, I would like to shout out great fan of the pod, Sweet Sugar Bee, for sending us a soy jacking meat weasel post today. It's on our story. I always appreciate good soy jack humor, so thank you for showing us your meat weasel.
Jesus Christ. We can't keep saying that.
Thank you for so you can show people your meat weasel on Instagram, but if you threaten to kill your friends as a bear, it's a big deal.
Hey, would you still love me if I was a bear that mauled you?
I'd still love you if you were a bear. I don't know if I'd still love you if you were a bear that
Well,
mauled
as a
me.
bear, I wouldn't know that I'm mauling you. I would think I'm just protecting my kin.
I think bears know when they maul. I don't think they go into a fugue state.
That's
when they
never been.
maul
I don't know.
people.
I've seen enough movies that make me think that bears just like their eyes go black and they become enraged.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe that's just the cocaine.
Yeah, it was like, as we mentioned before the podcast, I was watching some wrestling with some friends last night, and two of our friends are not. One of those people being my wife are not big wrestling fans. So I was trying to explain the sort of blood rage of Hulkamania. How when The Rock was striking him, he was actually only making him stronger. His body was shaking with the raw power of
And you
Hulkamania.
would think after several decades, people would learn that when you punch Hulk Hogan and he doesn't go down, he instead starts
And he
he
goes,
instead
"Huh,
starts
huh."
rattling like a phone on vibrate on top of a hard metal surface. That you should probably stop
Mhm.
punching him because you're only making him more powerful.
Yeah, just let him run out his Ultimeter or whatever. Let him to run
Yeah,
out his
let
shine
his
gauge.
finisher meter deplete before he has time to activate it.
Yeah, just don't let him use his super move. It's that simple. It's a counter super move, dude. Um. Anyway, we're talking about start Nick. I was thinking about this. This is good advice for people maybe again go listen to some old episodes. We've had a pretty we have a lot of up and downs with Star Wars. I think some of our better episodes are Star Wars based, and then some of our, in my opinion, this is debatable, not great episodes are Star Wars based. But we've done at least like what 3 or 4 Star Wars
We have
episodes.
done Obi-Wan. Did we ever do a Mandalorian?
We did the Big Bad Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. We did Boba Fett,
The Big Bad Book of
Obi-Wan.
Boba Fett.
Um, we must have talked about
I feel like we
Smuggler's
did another
Run.
one.
No.
Ye-
Did we do a May the 4th
n-
ever?
we there's one I'm trying to remember what it is, but there's a Photoshop somewhere of maybe it's just about Galaxy's Edge where I remember I edited like a bunch of random people into the Galaxy's Edge walkway, and that wasn't the Big Bad Book of Boba Fett one, and that wasn't the Obi-Wan one because that's the one where I drew Glup Shido on MS Paint. And I really, it shows trusting. You know, they say trust your scene partners, which is true, right? When I immediately was like, Nick, send me a picture of you soy jacking, and you're like, yeah, all right. So that was good scene partner, but that's the one with you
Well,
and I
that was
soy
after
jacking Glup
you
Shido.
had to explain to me what soy jacking is.
Yes, you're not as chronically online
No,
as
I
I am.
am as
There's
chronically
also
online as you, and I've said this before, but we are
different.
chronically online in different nations of the internet. Like we are in different hemispheres.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. When you're asleep, I'm awake. When it's winter here, it's
Our
summer there.
toilets flush in
We do
opposite
have this one.
directions.
We did talk about. We did talk about building your own lightsaber, which is where the one of you threatening to murder a child with a lightsaber came from. So we've done at least 4 Star Wars episodes. Oh, here's the wow. It's really actually was right after the Glup Shido one. Um, so we've done at least 4 of these. Oh, here it is. I found it. Um, Galaxy's Edge chaos will ensue. We bring our wildest Star Wars dreams to fruition. I guess we just did like a fixing Galaxy's Edge or an improving Galaxy's Edge.
Does it say a lot about our podcast that we don't even remember what episodes we've done?
Well, to be fair, the opening caption to this is editor's note, I may still be drunk. How much Morbius do we want in this? And he did make it up there in the corner. So also good. We recently did we added some furniture to our TV room, which is nice. We have a PlayStation 5 dedicated stand now, which means that we move some stuff around. So now I have the lovely Morbius Funko Pop from friend of the pod, Alex Luckenbaugh, just staring at me constantly from under
Friend
my
of the pod, Alex
television.
Luckenbaugh, who did in fact point out that there is a ride based on the disaster at Pompeii at Busch Gardens, Virginia, which I
Yes.
like almost brought up, but I could not remember if I was imagining it or not because I know there's also an Escape from Atlantis, I think SeaWorld, and I didn't know if I was conflating two ideas.
I had never heard of this. Alex, thank you. And he did highlight that they broke down that there are people kind of getting petrified in there,
Yeah, yeah, I think
right?
so.
It seems a little tasteless. They mentioned that, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to see that on a ride, but I don't know. I guess maybe just because it's a real life disaster. Who knows?
You know, I feel like we're so far removed from it, like
Hmm.
in the year 3000 someone's going to build a 911 ride.
You think? Do you think that's gonna? You think
I
so?
think so.
Mm. I just don't know how they're going to incorporate the giant animatronic George Bush at the end that comes stomping into the city, much
Well,
like a
he
kaiju
breathes
itself.
banana breath and it's just a big face that you go past.
That's a reference to our latest episode where you can check out from last week.
Ain't that the truth?
I really want to. I really want to release the Lumpy and the Meat Weasel promo image without the border because it makes a great iPhone wallpaper. Actually, without the like episode title and stuff on it. So maybe I'll
I
drop
don't
that
think
on
it
our
does,
story.
but I appreciate your energy.
You don't think the kids are gonna wanna be able to show off Lumpy and the Meat Weasel to their
No, no, I
friends?
don't.
Nick, I see that you're wearing a Star Wars shirt today,
I
by the way. I
am.
like that a lot. I don't like sand. You know, you're a beach guy, so that's
I'm
gotta be hard for
actually
you.
not. We've been over this several times.
Right?
I hate the beach.
You're not? What did I say before we started recording today? That you say a lot
Yeah,
of things?
I've talked about what were we even referencing?
Something about something we're gonna talk about in this episode about
Right,
the
right,
pilot.
right. So,
Yeah.
before we jump into Star Tours, there is a very important apology we need to make.
Yes.
Last week, on or about April 9th, 2024, we recorded an episode. And
Yep.
we've both had pretty busy lives. I've had rehearsals to get to. James has had several different jobs to attend to. And, sometimes things slip our minds. But occasionally, the things that slip our minds are very important and can really do a lot of
They're a
harm
big deal.
to other people.
Yeah.
And
So this is a printing an
in
apology.
our
Yeah.
haste, we did not take a visit to Craven's Corner. And in doing so, we did not leave out any food for Craven. And so, unfortunately, Craven has succumbed to his starvation, um, and we are regrettably off his list in perhaps the most emotionally painful way.
Are you implying that he's dead?
Craven has left the building.
What do you think a sad elephant would sound like? Like
Kind of sound like my farts after I eat too much Taco Bell.
That's awful. I hate you. I'd rather think 1,000 cum jokes than that reference ever. Oh,
Oh, everybody
I'm gonna do like
farts. Everyone knows everyone farts except for girls.
yeah, yeah, of course. I'm gonna do like a sad cheetah.
I don't even think that's what a happy cheetah sounds like.
I'm gonna do an orangutan that's like mildly ambivalent to the death of Craven. You
That's accurate. There we go.
got one? You got one?
I can do
You
a
got you have
rhino that's sad that Craven has died.
Are you gonna do a reenactment?
Oh no! Craven has
Yeah.
died.
Um, Nick, in the books, in the comics, Craven also died once. He was buried in a grave. I think he comes back dressed as Spider-Man. I actually don't really know. But
You're
either way,
thinking of
he was
Ezekiel
buried in a
Sims.
grave. No, no, I'm not. And then also, it seems like in the movie coming up that he may actually die at the beginning. I could not tell you what's going to happen in this movie. But a little drop of lion's blood is known to go a long way. So I think we should try our best to this week do the lion's share of the work and make up for last week's lack of
That's right. We
Craven.
have a double Craven's Corner coming your way. Hit it!
A Craven slam witch.
It's time for Craven's Corner. You're gonna need some orders if you take him off, cause here's the gist. There's only one way off his list. Craven!
All right, James, welcome to Craven's Corner. What do you got for us?
Sorry, I always get so caught up in that jazzy tune from friend of the pod, Alex Luckenbaugh. All right, so 2 weeks ago on IMDb, get ready for this. Aaron Taylor Johnson said, "What the fuck have I just read?" As he was horrified with one Spider-Man comic he's adapting from Kraven the Hunter that's actually bad news for the movie. Okay, you might have said, "Why'd you say it that way, James?" That's because this is the punctuation in this headline. Open quote, "What the fuck have I just read?" Close quote, colon. Aaron Taylor Johnson was horrified with a one Spider-Man comic he's adapting for Kraven the Hunter that's actually bad news for the movie. No punctuation in there. Every other word is capitalized, including words that I don't think you have to capitalize, like with, for, the, that's. All right, Nick, are
Born
you
ready.
ready? Since the last couple of Sony Spider-Verse films have proven to be failures, debatable, people are now quite skeptical going forward. From initial impressions, people are somewhat hoping that it will prove to be like the Venom films. But Okay, so here's the thing. This article is hosted on imdb.com, but none of the article is actually readable on here. I have to go to a completely different website. Hold on. Okay, I went on to Fandom Wire. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. It's a lot of pictures of Aaron Taylor Johnson kind of breaking up the article. Um okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Craven's last hunt, which made him realize just how oh Nick morbidly twisted. Yeah. He's damaged up there. Hold on, let's get out of the way. Uh with the interest morbidly twisted and interesting he actually was. You just think, what the fuck have I just read? That's the kind of character I'm playing. But then a lot of the people who grew up with Marvel are old enough now to watch an R-rated movie.
Yeah, brother.
So that's my Craven news. That's in 2 weeks ago. What do you got?
Well, James, we actually don't have time. This concludes our time on Craven's Corner. We thank you for that article. And hey, we'll see you next time.
No, I know I'm supposed to yes and I know that's good improv, but this is gonna be a bit. So okay, you know what? Sure, Nick. Let's move
So,
on.
before we move on to Star Tours, there is one other thing we have to get to this week. Before
Uh
we
huh.
forget, we'd hate to do it like we did last week. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Craven's Corner.
It's time for Craven's Corner. You're gonna need some orders if you take him off, cause here's the gist. There's only one way off his list. Craven!
What? What is the bit? Was the bit that?
All right, James, what do you got for us this week?
Oh God, no! This is like some sort of. This is like some sort of groundhog-like loop. Crap. Fuck. All right. Craven movie.
James, I would
Craven
like to
movie.
point out that we
Uh,
discussed more than once that we would just be doing back-to-back Craven's Corners as a bit. But again, I do just be saying stuff sometimes.
No, hold on. Before we started the episode today, I said, are we gonna do like a bit with this, or are we just doing two Cravens? And you were like, it's two Cravens.
Yeah, and that's
All right,
exactly what
all
we're
right,
doing.
all right. Okay, but I thought you would be looking one up. Okay, all right. Here we go. Here we go.
I can't
Craven,
work
Craven,
with this guy.
Craven news.
He doesn't read
All
the
right.
group chat.
God, all of these are. We don't have
Yeah,
a
we
group
do. It's
chat.
you and
All
me.
of
We're a
these are.
group now.
All of these are. I'm gonna go to page 10 of Craven News. Um. Okay. All right. All right. Um. Okay. Craven the Hunter not being in Black Panther was for the best. Do you know
Why?
why? Oh, fuck Christ, neither do I. I'm
I'd
scanning
like
through
you to
this
tell me
article.
more.
Um. Uh, Spider-Man has an iconic group of villains. Did you know that?
Does he?
Oh yeah, he does. And if Craven had been in Black Panther, the optics would not have been great for the title hero, who's supposed to be a big deal on his own without having to crib other characters. Having another villain fight someone else entirely would have continued this problem. Thankfully, Black Panther dived deep into T'Challa's
I
world.
thought that said,
This leaves
thankfully, Black
Craven.
Panther died. And I was like, wow.
This also leaves Craven free to have his own movie, which could definitely involve a showdown with Spider-Man. It won't. It absolutely will not down the road. And hey, Nick, do you know how I know this this article is really
How?
old? It ends with the phrase "Craven the Hunter hits theaters October 6th, 2023." Oh man. So that's Craven's Corner, baby. I hope you guys are still enjoying this bit because I know I'm ripping and roaring like a cheetah who needs to
That's
eat
right.
a.
Well, before we move on to Star Tours, there is one other thing we have to get to this week.
It's time for
I think this
Craven's
is the third Craven's
Corner.
Corner. I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
punch
We're
you
trying to
so
bank
hard that
them.
your nose
Bank
gets
them. So
blown.
next time we forget, we're good.
Oh. Okay, Nick, hear me out. Next week, 50 minutes of straight Craven's Corners. We cover ourselves to the rest of the year.
All right, everyone.
We call it
Let's
the
take
Craven
it from the
Pod.
jungle to the space jungle.
The space jungle.
There we go.
Yeah.
We are here and we are ready to talk about Star
Here.
Tours. Not Star Wars, not Star Whores. Star
Nick, come on,
Tours.
that's not funny. That was not an appropriate. I'm gonna have you banned off Instagram. So,
Star
Tours, Nick.
Tours.
Is this gonna be like nuclear versus?
No, I'm
nuclear?
actually. I say tournament. Do you say tournament?
Tournament. Tournament of Kings, Tournament of Kings. I don't know. That's one of the ones I like can't picture unless I you have to catch me saying it organically. Otherwise, I feel like I'm gonna
Yeah.
metagame it. It's like doing that your tongue is in your mouth type of
Yeah,
thing.
it's
Where
like,
now,
hey,
yeah,
so
like
when we do March Madness, we have a bracket, what is that thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
a
it's a
tournament.
tournament.
Everyone takes turns, but then you're torn over who's gonna
Yeah,
win.
and it's mint.
How,
Fucking mint.
we should say tourney from now on, like the British do.
Tournament.
Tournament. Ooh,
You can tune a
that
piano, but you
combo.
can't tune a mint.
I knew you'd get stuck on that. What's the oh God, what's that joke with the pot of glue?
What?
What's the
Now you're just saying shit.
what's the difference between a piano, a fish, and a pot of
What?
glue? You can tune a piano, but you can't tune a fish.
What about the pot of glue?
I knew you'd get stuck on
Who
that.
uses a pot of glue? At least contemporize the fucking joke.
what about an Elmer's squeeze? What about a glue stick,
Yeah, or
buddy?
what about what's something else that's sticky? I don't know. A fart after I eat
Yeah,
Taco
you
Bell.
don't. Oh my God, gross! And you know what the worst part is? You could have put the other thing in there
Yeah, and I
instead,
know,
and
but
it
I
wouldn't have
didn't.
been
I
as
subverted your
gross.
expectations because that's what
You're
comedians
a lot.
do.
You're a lot like Kevin Smith in the way that you.
I don't have a hat today.
I can't stop thinking about that guy's comment. I can't like how many views are on our YouTube video? And this guy was like, "Yeah, I gotta let them know about Kevin Smith, about my feelings about Kevin Smith."
We appreciate it genuinely, but hey, all
Yeah, we do.
publicity is good
Send
publicity
more of
unless
that,
you're Kevin Smith, apparently.
guys. Comment on all our stuff coherently. Please don't just comment
Yeah,
nothing
don't
because
cop
then
out.
it's good. I don't
It's
get it.
the movie Kevin Smith made that made him fucking hate making movies with Bruce Willis.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh
That's
yeah, no, it was
funny.
like one of the first big studio movie. Like Kevin Smith got hired to do like a big Hollywood action blockbuster, and he fucking
Hmm.
hated every second of it. Yeah,
Really? How come?
because Bruce Willis was miserable to work with. Um,
I've heard he's not a
yeah,
nice
but he's
guy.
like dying, so we have to be nice to him now. Um,
I mean, I'm not being mean to him. I've heard he's
hey,
not nice,
James,
but yeah,
not cool.
yeah. Not right. I'm gonna get banned off Instagram again for
Yeah,
Bruce
if you
Willis
could
slander.
tag Bruce Willis.
All right, we have to start. We're talking Star Tours today, which is a ride that I love, that you love, that has had a lot of iteration. Well, actually, do you love
I
it?
do really like it. I have friends that think this is better than Rise of the Resistance, and I think those friends are out of their goddamn minds. But I do really, really like this ride, and it very rarely has a long wait these days, so it's always something you can count on.
Oh yeah, and I like the queue. I like where it does have a. We'll talk about how it has kind of a weird situation now in the park as to where it's
Yeah,
placed. Um, I also really like this ride, Nick. I don't know if I would go as far to say as it is better than Rise of the Resistance. I don't think that's necessarily true. I do think like there are days where I'd rather get on it than Rise of the Resistance, but like I don't know. I really like chicken sandwiches. Every once in a while I might want a steak sandwich. Doesn't mean I think it's better than a chicken. I don't know. I get liking this. I don't know if you could say it's a better ride than
yeah. I
Rise of the
think
Resistance.
there's. I mean, unless you're the kind of person who just like really, really hates like the kind of movement that Rise of the Resistance gives you, but this is, I think, a rougher ride than Rise of the Resistance.
Okay, but now this may not be controversial at all, but you know what I
What
would
would you
say?
say?
If I had to rank the Star Wars rides, I would rank this above Flight of the Falcon or whatever it's
I
called.
would as well. I think without even a question.
Yeah, especially for what
Oh,
you
now
get
I'm gonna
from it,
sit here and we're
like for
gonna
the
let you
queue
work
and
out what the name of that ride is.
all right, all right. I just got it. Do you want me to be
No, no, I
funny
want
or
you
do
to
you
tell
want
me
me to? Do
what
you
the
want me to
ride
try?
is called. Millennium
Smuggler's Run.
Falcon Smuggler's Run. That's it. Yep.
I don't know why I always think it's Flight of the Falcon or like Falcon Ride or something like that or Han Solo's fun little ship.
So
Chewie and
Star
the
Tours
boys
opened in
steal some shit.
1987. Uh, it's a motion simulator ride. It first opened in Disneyland on January 9th, 1987, in Tokyo Disneyland on July 12th, 1989, at Disney MGM Studios at the time, at December 15th, 1989, which is
And
2 days after Taylor Swift was born. And has
Nick, just really
what?
quick, what is MG for those because a lot I've learned this now. A lot of our fans don't even what is MGM
Oh my
Studios
gosh,
now?
it is now Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I thought about that. There are definitely people who who never even knew that. But yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Disney used to have a partnership with another movie studio to name their theme park because they were so desperate to beat Universal to the punch, they needed as much money and
Yeah.
co-sponsorship as they could. So,
Mhm.
it then has opened in a
Yeah,
few
you were
other parks.
yes.
It opened, in Disneyland Paris, on April 12th, 1992, and, it also is nowhere. That is everywhere that it is.
It is everywhere and nowhere at once. Star Tours is within you and outside of you.
So, and like we said, it is a motion simulator ride. So, James, why don't you go ahead and pitch, like, the core concept of Star Tours?
So just like not I'm not going to try and illustrate any of the different like just
Yeah,
kind of the
just what is
basic
the core
concept is what you
conceit
want.
of the attraction?
So you are in the and you're going to hear some similarities here to kind of the setup for Space Mountain. You are in a galactic spaceport and you are getting on a shuttle. You're not like a fighter ship. You're not on a rebel base, nothing like that. You're going on a trip. Now it's up to you whether was that trip going to be a commuter trip? Was it going to be a vacation trip? You don't know. I don't know. But you're getting on a plane. You are in Space Newark Airport. And you get on that plane, and then depending on which version you are riding, and we'll get to that in a minute, hijinks are going to ensue. Now, invariably, those hijinks are the type of hijinks that, if they happen in real life, would not be fun because they often involve the Empire or some iteration of the Empire trying to kill you. But basically, your little trip goes awry, and you're going to see some cool Star Wars locations. Would you say that's
I
accurate?
would say that is accurate. I would say that much like all of my favorite things in the Star
Thank
Wars
you.
universe, it is a
Analog to
needless
real life.
analog for banal human life. Um,
Can you now, Nick? I know what you're saying, but I know the first time you said that it took me a minute. What do you mean needless analog to banal human
so
life?
Star Wars is a magical, fantastical outer space universe created from the minds of some
Mhm,
of the most creative individuals who have ever graced this great planet. And for some
mhm,
reason, they have things like 50s diners,
mhm.
motorcycles,
I love one of our favorite things.
motorcycle
Yes.
gangs, drugs, drug dealers, and cigarettes, and
Yeah.
apparently airports. And I just think and it's
Uh.
the closeness with which they do them. It's not like a fantasy. It's not like a sci-fi version of an airport. It is just this is an
Yeah.
airport, but we're putting it in Star Wars.
So I just want I want to highlight like I said there's some similarities to Space Mountain, right? Um between the two, Space Mountain is absolutely the one that leads more to like high fantasy and luxury, where like you're in this nice, serene spaceport getting ready to go on vacation. The Star Wars one is kind of like, yeah, you're in the fucking airport. You see like bags getting scanned. In the newer version, I don't know how much this has changed from the original. There's like PA messages on the queue about like if your shit's being detained, come
Yeah, like
over
there's
here.
a flight board with like people's flights are delayed. Like you are simulating the worst
Yeah,
parts of travel. There's a security
yes,
robot.
yes.
It's
It
so
is,
funny to me.
yeah.
Like it is so fucking funny to me.
I saw it with like the current condition of how bad air travel is for consumers, like how in real life how bad it is. Like I saw a tweet once that's like it's pretty incredible that we took something that you could argue is like the pinnacle of human achievement, taking to the sky and like getting across the earth in a day, and have turned it into like a capitalist hellscape with the way we pack people in and stuff. And it's great that Star Wars is like, yeah, I want in this high fantasy, your flight did get canceled. You are not going to make it home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Sorry, Life
And
Day.
so to be fair, this is opening in 1987. So things were maybe air travel. We were out of the golden age of air travel, as Maria and Enzo's
Oh yeah, we were.
Ristorante might say. But we
Uh
are still at a
huh.
point where like people aren't just hopping on flights for a quick weekend, you know? It's not
When did this open?
January 9th, 1987.
Okay, so they were 8 years out from the Iran hostage crisis. So I don't know. They had their fair share of airplane
And only
trouble.
10 years out from the release of Star Wars. A comparable thing would be if a movie from
Yes.
2014 released today. So this would be, frankly, we
Yep.
are about 9 years out from the release of The Force Awakens right now.
Movies from 2014. Keep going, yeah.
So this was Star Wars was like
Oh
people
man.
wanted more. Like we had only just wrapped
Mhm.
up Return of the Jedi, which is why it plays such a
Okay,
big
you know
part
what this
in the ride, which we'll see, we'll get into in a moment.
you know what's funny, Nick? Looking at 2014 movies, a lot of these are actually movies that we do have. Lego Movie, Guardians of the Galaxy, Godzilla. These are all, well, I guess it actually would depend on what version of Godzilla. A lot of these are movies that we do actually have some sort of theme park representation for now, but there's just as many that, like the animated Ninja Turtles movie, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Maleficent starring Angelina Jolie. Yeah, we don't have those. So, yeah, I get it.
So, Star Wars, obviously a hot commodity at the time. Biggest movie ever, maybe, basically.
Mhm.
But it wasn't the original idea for this kind of attraction. The discussions of a
Really?
simulator ride in Tomorrowland initially surrounded the live action Disney film The Black Hole. So, The Black
I don't
Hole
know
released in
anything about that.
December of 1979, which was about 10 years before Taylor Swift was born. Um,
Why is this your new BCE before Christ
BTS.
after? Yeah, yeah. Post Taylor Swift.
So, it was the first ever Disney film to be rated PG, which I thought was interesting. It's a sort of space themed
I did not know
disaster
that.
film capitalizing on the trends of the time. That was kind of a big thing in the
Okay.
70s, was like disaster movies. It was at the
Mhm.
time the most expensive Disney movie ever made. They had a $20 million budget plus about $6 million on advertising and marketing. And it was even nominated for some
Whoa,
Oscars,
yeah.
cinematography and visual effects. It grossed about 35 million, but that idea was shelved because of the quote enormous cost and the lack of the film's popularity.
I gotta tell you, I have never heard of this movie, but the visuals are
Yeah,
very appealing. I might
Ernest
watch
Borgnine
this.
is in it, which I think is fun. Just a name I enjoy
Oh,
saying.
that's nice. I have this memory. I don't know if we talked about this. I have this memory that I Ernest Borgnine came to my school, and I don't my mom, like, can't confirm it. She's like, "I don't remember that."
He
So,
died in
like,
2012
I
at 95 years old.
so it would have been possible because I remember him coming to my middle school, like my grade school. So it could have happened, but I don't know why I fabricated this memory that Ernest Borgnine visited E.H. Bryan School in Cresco, New Jersey.
He was
Like,
the voice
I'm
of
gonna Google
Mermaid
Ernest
Man,
Borgnine Cresco.
so it's possible that kids would have
Yeah,
liked him.
that's how I knew
Yeah,
him.
I know him as both that and the wife for or the husband for less than 6 weeks or 6 days of Ethel Merman. I'm not sure. Hold on, I'm gonna
Really?
look it up. I know they were like married, and it was like a terrible fucking mistake. Um,
He was noted for his gruff but relaxed voice and his gap-toothed Cheshire cat grin.
that is a great way of putting it.
Okay.
Looking at a picture of him, you're like, yeah, that is
Yeah.
gap toothed.
Yeah.
Oh God, how long were they fucking married for? Just show me. Merman was wife number 3. The union barely lasted a month. She filed for divorce after 32 days.
Wow. Jesus fucking Christ, that was fast. Really didn't like that fucking guy,
I mean,
huh?
hey, enough to
I know
marry
there's
him though. Like, how do you get to that point?
that's what that's what's always confusing to me. I know things were different back then, but like unless a person has really changed, but like yeah, how do you not know them at all? That I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't want
Who's
to
to say?
judge. Um
So anyway, they moved on from the
that's why
black.
I lived in
There's a
sin.
man. They moved on from the black hole idea, and eventually said, "Hey, let's reach out to our buddy George, who helped us with Captain EO." Captain EO, for those who don't know, was a movie with a pedophile in it that played at Disney World. Um,
Oh. Oh, it was the
yeah.
Michael Jackson one.
Sorry, am I not allowed to say
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Jackson's a pedophile? Is that still frowned upon? Will people get mad at me for that?
I I I I don't know why. I guess it's one of those things that like technically it was never proven, but like I don't know, grown man with a lot of kids in his bed.
Look, I'm just saying,
There's
just
really no
because he never
question
got
for me.
caught and proven of anything, it was clear there was some shit going on in his brain that he
Yeah,
enjoyed. And whether or not he diddled,
that is
diddle, or whether he diddled or didn't, it does not matter.
it's dinner. Yeah, that seems like that could be a bit in the Behind the Bastards podcast. In fact, they just did an episode on General Lee, and they awarded him one of the coveted, like, actually not a pedophile Behind the Bastards awards, which are very rare. But it's like, yeah, man, I don't know. If I knew a guy who had kids hanging out in his bedroom, even if he didn't diddle them, as horrible as that sounds, I'd still be like, you're not allowed near any more children, buddy. I'm so sorry. So yeah, Captain EO gets the
Captain
stamp of
EO, we
probably a
might not ever
pedophile.
do an episode on, but it is really fascinating, so we might.
Shimona.
Anyway,
Anyway,
they had
yeah.
worked with George Lucas on that. He like produced it, I believe.
On the pedophiles
Not
face-off.
the only pedophile to ever appear at Walt Disney World.
God damn it, that sucks.
We'll get into extraterrestrial alien encounter at some point.
Oh
That guy
yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
So we talk to George Lucas. We say, hey, we got this idea for I was there. And they talk to George Lucas and say, we got this idea for a simulator ride. And he goes, yeah, okay, you guys can use Star Wars. So
Oh,
they bought
okay.
4 $500,000 military grade fight simulators to develop the attraction. George Lucas and the team at ILM produced the ride film. Like, it's a live action shot movie. Like, that's the thing. Like, they essentially shot a Star Wars short, like in first person.
Yeah.
Um,
No
no pedophiles
pedophiles.
at all. Well, okay, actually, hold on. We're gonna
No.
get there.
God
Not a
damn it.
pedophile,
Fuck,
but
man.
legally a pervert is involved in this. Legally, not technically. No one thinks him as that. But Pee Wee Herman is in this.
Oh, oh, okay. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna. This is controversial. Okay, actually, I'm gonna meter this statement. I jerking off into pornography
On the
theater.
terms of sex crimes, bottom of the list.
Why is what else do you watch? What do you? I think.
Are you going to enjoy? Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you
Okay.
here. I'm with
Okay.
you.
I don't think anybody should be forced. This is not a controversial. You should not have to see anybody's genitals or any sort of sex act unless you absolutely positively want to with full enthusiastic consent. But I will say this. If I was in a pornography theater and I looked to my right, one guy was cranking his hog, and I looked to my left, and there was another man sitting, like, staring at the pornography
He's the
like he
weird
was in
one.
Dune
He is
2.
the weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like fucking watching an art. He's watching Oppenheimer. Like, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know. I don't want to be near either of these people. I think I might want to be less near the guy who's like, interesting.
That
angle.
is such
You
a
know what
good
I
way of
mean?
putting it. I am obsessed with that.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
That's a really
Thank
good
you.
way of framing that. Anyway, we'll get there. So George Lucas produces the ride movie, and the way they sync it to the ride movie is they have a dude sit in the simulator with a joystick and just control it to the movie. Now,
he's sitting in the theater with his joystick.
much like Paul Rubens, he's sitting in the theater with his joystick.
Oh.
Now, but if I take my joystick out on Star Tours, I get banned from property.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, good episode.
I had a joke like that. I had a joke like that once I made up about monkeys at the zoo, and I forget the phrasing. If I remember it, I'll text it to you later.
As long as it doesn't have to do with fucking pots of glue, use a more contemporary container.
Oh, okay. All right, let's move on.
The ride vehicle is meant to represent essentially a space airplane, like a commercial airplane. But in reality, it is a hydraulic, I'm going to quote this directly, a hydraulic motion-based cabin featuring 6 degrees of freedom, which to me sounds like one of those weird right-wing Gina Carano movies produced by
6 degrees of
InfoWars.
freedom, and it's called 6 Degrees of Freedom, and she plays a cowboy with a bullet in each slot of her 6-shooter that her dad gave her, saying, stand up for your civil rights, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it has the ability to move 35 degrees on each of its axes and planes, which is cool. So, it cost about $32 million to produce the ride. And then the time came to open this bad boy. And when I tell you this opening ceremony approaches holiday special territory, you need
As
to
in
watch
Star
this.
Wars Holiday Special.
It is a 14-minute opening ceremony. And James, when I tell you this is a ballet, I am not exaggerating at all. It is a stunt show / ballet featuring Star Wars characters. Like Han Solo and Leia, Han Solo like lifting Leia. She's like doing, pirouettes. It's one of the more insane things you could see.
So, you're saying the seeds for that weird Disney dance-off Star Wars show they used to host had been planted all the way back in 81
Yeah, and
or
then
whatever?
guess what? After that, there's a
87.
fucking musical number where the Jizz band comes out. Oh, sorry, the Jats band comes out because they're changing the name now. Did you hear about this?
Those fucking cowards. Yeah, can you please say this for our
So
non-diehard
the
Star Wars
Cantina
fans'
band,
sake?
doo, 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 doo. The name of the band, James, is of course, we'll say it together, Figrin Dan and the Modal Nodes.
Freaking Dan and the Mogul
So
Nodes.
Figrin Dan and the Modal Nodes play a genre of music called jizz music. However, because woke, Disney and
They
Lucasfilm have
changed it to
decided
Pot
to
of Glue
change it
music.
to Jats music,
Pot of Glue. Oh, okay.
JATZ music. And they were
That's a
called, you know
fun
how
word
like
to
you call
begin
like,
with,
oh,
but
he's a piano player. They were jizz whalers.
Jizz Slingers. Oh fuck! It's a
Jizz whalers.
whalers. Oh god, that's those fucking cowards taking away my wailing jizz players. Oh
What
god,
a time
that's
to be
good.
alive. Figrin Dan and the Modal
What
Nodes.
a time to be alive.
So, this is insane. You just have to go watch it. To try to put it into words would be crazy. But then Michael Eisner and George Lucas show up. You know, known charisma freaks, Michael Eisner and
Yeah,
George Lucas.
known black holes of social
Look,
engagement.
I think Michael
yes.
Eisner's awesome. I think the way he like took ownership of rides and made himself a public figure during his tenure as CEO of the Walt Disney Company is one of the best parts of like growing up a Disney fan, and I have great memories of it. But he is
Sure.
off his game on January 9th, 1989.
Hey, maybe he had a rough night before or something.
Maybe he knew
okay?
that somewhere in Pennsylvania, America's sweetheart was about to be born, and he just couldn't sleep knowing that she was still in her mother's tummy.
A great disturbance in the force there is.
So, George Lucas, so he is fucking beefing it left and right. At one point, he goes, "What do you
Yeah.
say, PC C3PO?" And he just fucking stutters his way through this. And
What do you say, robot that I
then they do a
created?
bit where like 3PO and R2 fuck up the ribbon cutting, and they're like, "What are we going to do now?" Cue like the worst Mickey voice you've ever heard, like the most incorrect sounding Mickey arrives, and he's like, "I've got something for you, George and Michael. Here you go." This is a better Mickey than you hear in the video. And they hand them the
Yeah.
worst looking lightsaber you've ever seen, and then they do a really cool effect actually, where they touch it to the ribbon, and the ribbon like splits with a row of flame, like they had rigged it with pyro, which is dope.
That's
Yeah,
kind of dope.
so that was the opening at Disneyland. And then the ride.
Okay.
Here's what the ride is. You go through the
Okay.
space airport, you listen to the space banal conversations, and then you get what I consider to be an iconic pre-show video. I don't know if you've ever
Mhm.
seen the original, but it's a bunch of 80s style Star Wars aliens and normal
Mhm.
people riding Star Tours, and it's going through like the pre-show safety stuff.
Yes.
There's a bit.
You're getting the airplane
Yeah,
safety
it's
spiel.
essentially literally an airplane safety spiel. And then there's a moment where like a
Mhm.
kid turns around and takes a flash photo of Chewbacca with a giant 80s camera, but he reacts like he's been shot. It's so good. You get the iconic Star Tours chime, the doo-doo-doo-doo, you know that. That's where this
Mhm.
starts. It's so good. It's so good. It's aliens and humans living in harmony. I love this pre-show. Then you get on the ride,
Mhm.
and you're supposed to be taking a flight to the forest moon of Endor. Now, I had to do some digging on this. James, do you know, is Endor the name of the moon or the name of the planet?
It's the name of the planet.
Incorrect. I also thought this.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
See, growing up, I was the
Yeah.
forest moon of Endor is like the United States of America. Like it's just what we call the moon. Then I guess I got like
Mhm.
incorrectly corrected at one point by some nerd on the
Yeah, I
internet
always thought it was the same
who
way.
thought that Endor is actually the
Yeah.
planet. Frankenstein is the name of the planet. No, it's the forest moon of
Oh,
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein is the planet's
Yeah.
monster. Yes.
No, Endor is the name of the moon, orbiting the planet Tana, which has 9 moons.
Okay.
Yeah. So then up on the screen pops.
Maybe they should have just called it the Moon Endor. Maybe they shouldn't have called it the
Yeah.
Forest Moon
Or
of
Endor, the
Endor.
forest moon of Tana, you know? Like,
Yeah, literally anything but that. Okay, yeah.
so then up on the screen pops Captain Rex, who is a droid. RX-24 is his designation. And he greets guests while
Uh-huh.
R2-D2 gets quote unquote loaded into your vehicle. It's just a video. And then this is maybe the coolest part of the ride. The cockpit shield lowers and you get a full fucking animatronic in your ride vehicle.
Yeah.
Like very rare that
This
happens.
is still true now.
Yeah.
It's just different. Yeah, but yeah. It's very
Yeah.
cool. And like also you see this again, it's funny kind of because you see this again with Rise of the Resistance. It's a little bit of a different one, but like it is kind of cool to see that carried forward in the Star
Yeah,
Wars
it's just like
ride.
getting to
I
get
can't
that.
think of that
It's
many
very rare that
others.
you get that close of a look at a really cool looking robot. So
Mm-hmm.
the ride begins, and one of the most iconic quotes in all of theme park history, I think, is, "It's probably your first flight, and well, it's mine too." So you're not really
My
enjoying
brain
it the
has
way I
been
thought
so
you would. That's
ruined.
interesting. What's going on?
It's it's my brain has been so ruined by like millennial speak that it really feels like that just
Dream guest
happened.
on my podcast? Uh,
Oh,
let's get
okay.
controversial.
Hold on.
Let's get spicy.
I I
Paul
almost brought
Rubens.
up and his pot of glue. I
Paul Rubens and his
I
joystick.
I almost brought this up before we recorded. I hate that all of my social media feed is trying to get me to look at JoJo Siwa. She is, and I don't think, but for a second, that she is as bad of a person. From the limited amount that I know, do not correct me if she's terrible. That's fine. But she's like a Jake Paul or a Logan Paul to me. I don't ever want to see her. I don't want to see her. I do not care about her content.
Hey, what the fuck you got against the WWE United States champion Logan Paul?
I hate that
Other
he's a
than
good
the
wrestler.
Japanese forest thing. Yeah,
Suicide
that was a
Forest thing.
problem.
Yeah,
Fuck that guy.
I don't ever want to see him. I rank him under how much I hate his younger brother. But I don't want
Well,
to
his
see
younger
any of these people. And
should
my
we get
feed,
together and watch his younger brother get his ass kicked by Mike Tyson?
I yeah, I would do
Cool.
that.
We'll make those
I
plans
would
after
do
the
that.
podcast.
Yeah, there's no bit. I would
Yeah, I'd
like
like to watch him get his face
we can
beat
do it
in
for the
by a
podcast.
man who is also a pretty bad dude by all accounts. That being said, you get on the ride and
Yes.
Rex is just, boy, is he fucking up at every turn.
He's got his ex on his
You bear
podcast.
one of my exes. Uh Probably your first
Oh
podcast, and
God.
actually it's mine too.
Yeah.
So hijinks ensue as he tries to get out of the station. And then you finally do, and you get another iconic quote, which I've always said would be my band name if I ever started one, which is Lightspeed
Mhm.
to Endor!
Lightspeed to Endor is a really good
Really
like Star
fucking
Wars
good
government
band
name.
name. Uh,
Yeah.
so we jump, and of course, oh my gosh, we overshoot the moon of Endor. You come out of hyperspace, you're like, look, there it is, and we're passing it, which is a pretty good comedy
And
beat.
which is good. Also brings up a thing that Katie and I talk about all the times with the droids in Star Wars. Captain Rex is like nervous how this is his first flight. No. Why do you build these things with the capacity
Yeah.
for fear? Why do you build them so they can feel pain? You sick fuck.
Oh man, AI learning, baby. So we overshoot Endor, we enter a comet field, and I always remember being really confused by this as a kid because they are biblically accurate comets. They're just chunks of ice. I was like,
Yeah.
are we on Hoth now? What is
Yeah.
happening? But no, comets are just chunks of ice hurtling through space at
Oh,
breakneck speed.
Nick, really quick, because I know I just want to bring this up. So we're giving away a little plot twist. There is going to be a major renovation that happens to Star Tours. It becomes Star Tours: The Adventure
The adventures
Continues.
continue, I
But
believe.
uh, I have no memory of original Star Tours. Do you, like, so you have been on it.
Vividly. I vividly remember. I much
I
prefer original Star Tours, honestly.
I remember Captain Rex, but I can't tell if I'm like filling in that blank now. I feel like I should ask my mom when the first time we went to Disney was, because I feel like I've been on it, but all of my memories are of a different anxious, neurotic robot in that seat, which comes after the refurb. But I'm
There
gonna
are a
text you
lot
right
of
now.
anxious, neurotic robots in Star Wars. Yeah, that's a good point. But alas, we go through the comet field, we come out, and are immediately caught in a Star Destroyer tractor beam. Which
Yep.
starts to get to the point of where in the timeline does this fit?
This is like you're trying to fly to, I don't know, the East Coast. We've overshot and ended up in Nazi Germany, and we're being forced to land. Like, come on.
It's you know what? I think a better would be like we were supposed to fly to like Juneau, Alaska, but we accidentally overshot, and now we have like 2 Putin warships insisting that we land immediately.
Yeah. Land immediately. You're in Russian territory. Oops.
So this does
Okay.
raise questions of where in the timeline we fall, but it was 1989 and no one gave a fuck. So, Star Destroyer's there, you're in a tractor beam, you get rescued by an X-Wing, and you join the assault on the Death Star.
Yep.
But,
Fuck it. Why
James,
not?
no,
Why
this is
not?
not Death Star, and it's not Death Star 2. This is Death Star 3. I did some
What?
digging on this, and it was apparently revealed.
This is a
It was
third.
revealed by Leland Chi in 2013 that this was actually a habitation sphere disguised as a Death Star in a plot by an Imperial warlord to distract the New Republic. Now, who is Leland Chi,
Why?
you might
Why
be
did?
asking? James, ask me.
Why did he? Why did he describe it if he was gonna? Why did he hide it if he wanted to
Well,
distract
I
them?
don't know, but this was Leland Chi, who is
Sorry.
the
All right. All right.
continuity
Hold on.
database administrator.
Who is Leland? Who
I
is
just
Leland
said it,
Chi?
James.
I'm setting you
He
up.
can we take it back to one?
All right, let's try it again. Let's try it
Yeah.
again. Ready?
I
What's a
came and
Leland
God
Chi?
damn it.
So who
He's the
is he, Nick?
continuity database administrator for Lucasfilm,
Uh
which
huh.
means he is essentially the
Uh
lore
huh.
keeper of Star Wars.
Oh, damn. That's probably either a really cool or a fucking awful
Yeah, he gets
job.
fucking sweaty nerds asking him shit like, "Hey, how did what?" And he just has to make some shit up. Where he's like, "God, it was a fucking habitation sphere disguised as a Death Star." I don't know.
He was watching cooking vids. All right, he was watching cooking vids
Long story
because
short,
glove.
you join the trench run. It fucking rules, and you land and you exit through a cool
Yeah,
gift shop. And yeah, so that
I bring
yeah.
this up every time I'm on Star Tours, but you always join some adventure, and like this is the equivalent of you in your Boeing 747 flying to Bermuda and being like, you know what, boys, looks like those fighter jets could use a hand, and fucking getting involved, baby.
So, this ride was announced that it would be closing in 2010 to make way for new adventures to be added, and just an update because again, we're now at the point where like new Star Wars movies were going to be coming out. We've already had the prequels that like 3 movies had
We're
come
always
out,
at that
animated
point
series.
now.
A lot of new
Yeah,
Star Wars content was around.
yeah.
And so in
So
2010, this ride closed in different months, depending on where in the world you were, but they all closed.
yeah,
And the ceremony to close it, there was a little show for, I think it was called like the Final Flight Star Tours
mhm.
shutdown ceremony. I don't remember what they fucking called it. But essentially, Boba Fett shows up and blows up the building. Um, they,
Okay. Hey, I'll be honest with you. I did
yeah,
not know
they
that.
check it out. It's pretty cool. I'll send you the link if you want to just check it out real quick while we're watching. You can skip to the end. But it is they do a little show. Darth Vader shows up with some stormtroopers and they're like, "Hey, no, stop." So Boba Fett's like, "Okay, it's time to fucking blow it."
Hey,
He tosses
no,
a
don't
thermal
do that.
detonator toward the building and then a lot of pyro goes off across the roof of the building and around it.
I need to. This is the one part. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay. He just threw the grenade in, and holy shit! Oh wow,
A
wow.
lot of pyro, right?
You know that's something Disney would never do anymore. They would never be like, "Hey, your ride's over. We're gonna have the fascist villain and his higher mercenary blow it the fuck
Yeah, this
up."
was still in the era where Disney wasn't, getting their titties in a twist about continuity.
I would have loved if the employees that were retiring, like if there's anybody who was retiring at that time, they should have allowed them to be like, "Hey, you can walk into the building right before Boba Fett shows up, so we'll imply that you die in the explosion. You can go out in a blaze of glory, Dan from
Well,
Orlando,
here's a little fun fact: the all the humans that are on the the pre-show video are Imagineers and their families, which is pretty cool.
are dead. They were
Well,
killed by
in
Boba Fett during
when
his.
Rex accidentally did Space 9/11, he they were
He
unfortunately.
flew it right into. He overshot right into the Coruscant financial district. It's fucked up. All right. So this ride closes down, and you might think, oh, it's the end of Star Tours. Okay. No, like Nick said, we're going to be getting Star Wars things forever. So this was basically just a refurb that involved adding a lot of cool new scenes, a lot of new stuff from more, hi, Laszlo, from more recent movies. Now, Nick, I just want to point out one thing really quick here. I like that it said Fitzgerald, who is Tom Fitzgerald, the executive VP, kind of stated that while Ace was supposed to be the pilot of the Starspeeder 1000, by the time the riders actually take off, the pilot would be C3PO. So there was the original pilot who's Ace, who's supposed to fly you. C3PO takes over for you. He mentions, and this is a genuine question I have for you, that Captain Rex, the original pilot in this ride, in the original version of Star Tours, would be visible somewhere else in the ride. Where
So
was that? Do
he
you
is
know?
in, I believe, the queue. He is like decommissioned.
Oh, okay. They killed
Yeah,
him.
so
All right, that's
canonically,
fine. Well,
let
he
me just
has a
give you a breakdown of the canon of DJ Rex. Of sorry, Captain Rex.
yes,
Captain Rex,
yes.
RX-24, is fired following the events of Star Tours. So he joins the
He
Alliance,
should
the
be.
Rebel Alliance, as a cargo pilot. Um, at which point he crash lands on Batu, is rebuilt by the guy who owns the droid depot, and given to Oga in the cantina, where he is reprogrammed as a DJ and now works as DJ Rex. And they, for some reason, like
Good
they
for him, honestly.
gave him, like, what do they call it when, like, they rename like a robot? It's like they
Re
it's not
rename?
rename, there's another word, like, not redesignate. Yeah,
Redesignate?
they have
Yeah.
redesignated him. I don't know if this is something there's an explanation for in canon or if Disney just did it. He is now DJ R3X.
Okay. Maybe it's so his old life of all the people that he got killed flying really badly wouldn't come and try to kill him.
Yeah.
Also, though, as a rename, that is the equivalent of Obi-Wan becoming Old Ben.
Yeah.
But okay, so they announced right
Well,
before this
sorry,
opened up
one of my
that you would
favorite
be
jokes in the
getting
Family Guy Star Wars is, "Obi-Wan Kenobi? You must mean old Obi-Wan Kenobi."
yeah. So they basically announced they would be adding more scenes to this ride. So just in case we didn't break it down enough for you, you are kind of jumping in Star Tours. The screen in front of you now it can play different scenes. I'm trying to think of another word for it. So your ride is not always going to be exactly the same. There's a certain amount of combinations, which I think is written down here, which is surprisingly high. When they closed down the refurb in 2011, they stated that more characters would be introduced on the ride, including Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Imperial Stormtroopers, Jump Troopers, Admiral Akbar, Yoda, Princess Leia, and Chewbacca, with the opportunities to visit Tatooine, Coruscant, Hoth, Naboo, Kashyyyk. Did not realize there are 3 Ys in
Yeah.
Kashyyyk, and the Death Star as it orbits Geonosis. So, it started with soft launches on May 14th, official opening night being May 20th, 2011. Anaheim also opened up on June 3rd. Tokyo Disney opened up on May 7th. Disneyland Paris finally opened up on March 26th, 2017. Wait, holy shit, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they were
They
the
got theirs
last to get
really
theirs
late.
switched over.
Yeah. So, really quick, I'm not going to play the whole video. It's not quite as good as the one you described. Nick, have you watched the opening video for
The
The Adventure
rededication, at
Continues?
some point I have seen it, but it's been a while.
So, we don't have to watch it now, but I want to highlight something. It is a much bigger ceremony and it takes place on a huge platform. There's a lot of things that happen. There are characters that I actually don't remember the names of. You remember that assassin? She had a top knot. She was like completely white, wore all red clothing.
Yeah.
She only existed in like the comics and the games. She's there. A bunch of like secondary Star Wars characters are there, but once again, Darth Vader shows up and is distinctly unhappy with the reopening of
Like,
Star
didn't I
Tours.
blow up this
So
building 2 years ago?
I'm going to kill this whole crowd. So then a video is played of 2 Jedi sprinting into Hollywood studios. It's Hollywood
Yeah.
studios at this point, correct? Yeah, sprinting into Hollywood studios in the traditional Jedi outfits: brown robe, hood, kind of cream colored tunic. 2 Star Wars stormtroopers attempt to stop them, but the Jedi do like 6 stunts, not even to intimidate the stormtroopers. The stormtroopers are like, "Yo, that's fucking sick," and they let them go through. And you might think, "Oh, these 2 Jedi are gonna run onto the stage in their outfits." No. Out walks George Lucas and Bob Iger in regular clothing, wearing jeans and a flannel and a suit. And they're like, "Yeah, we were the Jedi in that video." And
At
it's implied
least
to be
put them
because
in
they're both
fucking
holding
robes.
lightsabers.
Oh my god.
No, George Lucas walks out in his regular clothing, looking about 3 feet tall next to Bob Iger and Darth Vader. And then George Lucas goes up to Darth Vader and goes like this. Like he's gonna elbow him in the face or something. And Darth Vader's like, "Okay, all right, fuck it, I guess you win." Um, they kind of intimidate Darth Vader. He leaves, I guess, and then George Lucas talks, and Bob Iger stands like this the whole time. I don't really know why he stands like that. We can watch this later. It's not quite as explosive as the dance number in the other one, but it is utterly bizarre that they committed to the bit of Bob Iger and George Lucas lazily holding lightsabers, but not enough for them to wear the Jedi robes they're wearing in the video.
Yeah, I got a few notes on that, but carry on.
Anyway, so from then on out, the difference in the ride is that you have multiple scenes that you can see as you are riding, and they're not built into one storyline, which is a little strange because there was a lot of debate apparently about like how this affects the timeline. At one point, it was said that George Lucas wanted to add a battle on Hoth, but like that battle hadn't. I think this might have been actually in the original Star Tours. George Lucas wanted to have a battle on Hoth, but it affected the timeline weird, so he implied it was a different battle on Hoth than the one that we see in the movies, which is interesting that he's the creator of Star Wars, and the canon people were like, "No, we're not doing that, George." Sorry, that doesn't make enough sense. The cues,
Leland
if
has
I'm correct
brought
here,
the
whatever
hammer
reading it,
down. Do you know all
yes,
the
the
tiers of
cue.
canon they have for Star Wars? Well, they have G tier,
No,
which is canon to George Lucas, his work, like the original 6 movies. Then there's
is this a
yeah,
real
there's
thing?
G tier.
Oh,
What the fuck are the other tiers? I don't remember. It's like G tier, T tier, S tier, secondary tier.
uh huh.
There's like T tier is television tier. S tier
Hmm.
is secondary tier, which is the lowest tier of canon. D tier is
Hmm.
Detour tier, which is like the parody series that never actually got released. The Star Wars Detours.
Hmm.
Remember those? Like the little
Yes, yes, those are kind of
yeah.
cool. Okay, so one of the big changes that happens here is you do now get 3D glasses, which look substantially different from the other ones. They're still. I always forget these are a thing until I get on the ride.
Yeah.
What is their justification for having to wear them in the queue? Are they
They're
like space
your
goggles?
flight goggles.
Okay,
Like
right, sure.
like
That's
everyone
it.
wears
Yeah.
on airplanes.
Yes, yes. Your goggles so you wear just so the flight feels smoother on your eyes. I actually have heard from people that wear contacts that flights can really dry out your eyes.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's all the
Is
recycled
it
air.
because of all the
Anyway,
potted
the ride
glue?
sequence is yeah.
That sounded like a
Yes.
setup
So
for a
when you get
joke. I'm
on,
sorry.
when you get on,
I hear that
the difference
airplane
is you
flights
were
can actually really dry out your eyes. Why is that?
must be because of all the
Guys of all the
because they
because
really
the air's
suck.
too plain. Hey,
Oh, get Paul Rubens off this plane. There's children on here. So
that's
originally
the
you were supposed to
airline
be flying
equivalent would be the guy who just sits there with no entertainment for 3 hours.
and just like Putty and Seinfeld, when Lane's like, "Do you want a magazine?" He's like, "No,
Yes.
I'm good." And just stares at the back of the seat. So originally you're supposed to be flown by a good pilot named Ace, but unfortunately, C3PO. Oop, I got water on my trackpad. C3PO is sitting in the pilot's seat. Nick, he's just doing maintenance, right? Like he didn't just fucking
Yeah, no,
fall
he
in
was like
there.
doing work on the flight.
But because whatever, sure, who gives a shit? That's not his job ever. He's a language robot, but okay. He gets locked in there, and of course, hijinks ensue. The flight is mostly automatic, and R2D2 is also there, but he's all, oh, I've been trapped. Now, was the Rebel Spy part of the original as
No,
well,
so
Nick?
this was an addition that I do think is really cool.
Yes. Yes. So it is implied that there could be a Rebel spy on your flight, which, just like I'm trying to imagine the equivalent of this if you sit down on your airplane and they're like, by the way, there could be a
Yeah.
seditionist
By
on
the
your
way,
plane right
one
now.
of you is an undercover CIA operative, and we're going to tell you exactly
Yes.
who it is right now.
So an Empire scanny doohickey majig comes on through. Is it still Darth
It
Vader?
depends. It switches.
Does he
So that's
say?
one of the cool things. This version of the
Yes.
ride is very plug and
Yes.
play. Like it's like a Mad Lib. There's
Mm-hmm.
options for each thing. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's Vader, sometimes it's
I can tell you how
Kylo.
many. There are 26 random segments of the film, 5 opening segments, 5 primary destinations, 10 hologram message segments, and 6 endings, combined allowing for 1,500 ride experiences.
You know what a fun thing to do would be if we like
Oh,
lived down there? Just go ride this
yes.
all day and see how many combinations
Uh-huh.
we can get.
Oh, I would do that in a heartbeat. That sounds genuinely, I love this ride, and it's one of the only motion simulators that does not make me violently ill. Nick, I have to run and grab something really quick. Do you want to talk a little bit about the message you get at the beginning and how they pick the spy? Well, pick a spy for you.
Yeah,
You don't pick
sure.
anything.
So, right as you're taking off, a message comes on. I might be messing up the order on this. This was James's part to research, so I'm going off memory here. But a a bad guy stops your vehicle and says, "We think there's a rebel spy on board." And they show a picture that is actually taken on the ride vehicle of someone who is in the ride vehicle. So it's like a big badge of honor to be the rebel spy. Usually, it's a small child, which I always think is very funny. The idea that the entire empire could be chasing after a 6-year-old, it really brings out a nice comedy beat in the ride, which is I always appreciate a nice comedy beat. But R2D2 always being the adventurer and C3PO being the nervous little fucking wet blanket that he is, he's like, "Oh, it's probably we should turn them over." And C3 and R2D2 is like, "Wow!" And he throws the thing into fucking gear and books it away into light speed, and that's when the random segments start popping up. Now, there's segments from the prequels, the sequels, the TV shows I now believe have segments as well. We're getting a new segment from Andor very soon. And that is why I think that James should be mauled by a bear.
Oh man, did you talk about the ending where you get mauled by a
No, I did
bear?
talk about how I
Where
think
you
it's
land
funny
on the
that the rebel spy is always a kid.
Yes, implying that they have a lot of child soldiers in their ranks that they're using to try and throw off the fucking empire. Also, my mom did answer us. No, we did go on this. Our first trip was in 2004. So yeah, we definitely got on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got up to once you
So,
launch into light speed and like the actual randomized scenes start happening.
yes, it's really cool with all of the updates that have come. Originally, you had just things from the prequel. The prequel. Sorry, my timeline got fucked up there for a second. But it was pretty cool because you could go on Geonosis. They have a breakdown on the Wikipedia page that is pretty dope. You can get Darth Vader, the Imperial Stormtroopers, and I like that they specifically note the Jump Troopers, which is like
They fly now.
they're just guys with jetpacks. They
They fly
fly
now.
now. This might be my first flight. Anyway, you could also get First Order troopers in Kylo Ren. An Imperial probe droid attaches to the windshield. That one is kind of lame, in my opinion, but also you do get Han Solo. So that's kind of a cool trade-off. Now there are some new ones. I don't want to jump ahead yet. We can talk about those at the end. But after the original update there, then they started adding ones in from the sequel movies. So then you could start going to Jakku. You could start going to the planet with the crashed Death Star on it, which I don't know the name of. Do you?
I'm fairly certain it's
It's like
another moon of Endor.
Ernest. It has a name, and I saw it before, and I could not remember what it was. Let me see if I can find it for you. Pergil?
No, the
No.
Purgles are the space whales,
This
I think.
You are 100% right. Wow, that was Nick. That was
Thanks.
good. No, I can't seem to find. Oh, Kef beer.
That's the ocean moon of Endor. I learned about that when reading about the 9 moons of Endor. Or the 9 moons of
You know
Tana,
what? That's
of
right.
which Endor is one.
Yes. So basically, your trip is now broken up into a bunch of different chunks. But Nick, if I'm correct, and this I'm not actually sure about, I tried to look it up, but I couldn't get a straight answer. Are they tied? They are always going to be tied. Like, you're not going to get to Geonosis if you open up with the First Order thing, are you?
I'll be completely honest, I don't know. Because I think all of
I
the
can't quite
scenes I
figure it
think
out.
are non-canon or like are not tied to events within the movies. Like I don't think you're ever going through events of the movies. Things are just happening that might be similar. Like one of my favorite ones is when you go to Naboo.
Oh
The
no.
Naboo sequence is really fun because you get to see all the fields of Naboo and then you dive under the water and
Yes.
then the big electric eel thing bites the thing and it's a really cool motion profile for the vehicle at that point where like it
Yeah.
shocks you and it like shakes you a little bit. That's might be my favorite one on the new ride.
So here's an answer, Nick, but it kind of the answer goes both ways, but I think it tells us there is a little bit of selectivity. Segments are chosen randomly with no regard toward the chronology of the series. However, characters and locations from the sequel trilogy are not mixed with other eras. So I think theoretically you could get prequels and original trilogy. So you could get episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You will not be getting like Kylo Ren showing up and then going to
Got it.
Naboo.
Okay.
Which is it's interesting to me that like that's Just you could just throw in a time portal thing, I guess. But also you can't be chased by Kylo Ren and then be caught by the Empire. I guess that would be a little confusing. In the end, you are always going to deliver the rebel spy safely. Unfortunately, there is no end where your ship goes up
Yeah,
in
and again, to
flames,
to use the
which would have
analog,
checked.
this would be like if you got on an airplane, you were thinking, time for my nice vacation to Aspen, and the
Hmm.
flight attendant gets on
Hmm.
and says, "Okay, actually, two things. One, our pilot is the guy who translates at the ticket counter, and also we have a
Hmm.
CIA operative on board. We're not going to Aspen. We have to deliver him to Langley, like ASAP."
Sorry, we got to get out of here, kid. You're not going to Disney World today. So I'm just gonna go through the endings for you. There's one where you get to the Battle of Coruscant. You plummet through the skyline after several near misses, careens to a halt on a landing platform, nearly hitting a traffic control droid. There is one where you complete the uncompleted rotation. Sorry, you complete going around the Death Star orbiting Geonosis, which is currently incomplete, but you land upon a Mon Calamari cruiser with the Rebel Alliance offering congratulations, which is interesting because I always forget that Geonosis is even a factor in the later movies. You do fight Boba Fett in that one. There's one where you make it to the planet of Crate, which that's the one with the
Crate
weird
is the salt
salt,
that
right?
looks like Hoth and it turns red when you walk on it. I like that ending a lot also. That's a really fun sequence.
Yeah, you make the jump and you arrive on Batu, touching down safely on the remote planet. Oh, good. There's another one where you end up on Batu, but you originally go to the Sith Eternal Fleet, which is a lot cooler than it sounds. Even though I don't know, I wouldn't mind seeing that one because I feel like it'd be very visually engaging. But the bad guy in that is General Dameron. Oh no, that's Poe Dameron. Never mind.
Yeah, you know how we
I've
always
never
call
heard
him
of him called
General
General
Dameron?
not General Poe. You end up on Batu. There's one where you arrive on Cetos. I'm going to assume that's the evil planet
No, that's Exegol.
where. What the fuck is Cetos? Oh, it's the Night Sister planet. Okay, so this kind of leads to the other thing I wanted to talk about. So we once again got an update that actually came in April 5th of this year, actually, which is kind of cool, which includes a lot of scenes from the Star Wars TV shows, including Andor, Jin
Din
Darin.
Djarin.
Did Jin Darin? Din Djarin, thank you. And Grogu, Baby Yogurt, and Mando. And you also get some from Ahsoka now, which neither of us have been there for those, right?
I could have sworn the Ahsoka and Mandalorian ones have been there. The Andor one I knew was
Hmm.
coming, but I could be dead. I think I might be confusing myself because I'm pretty sure all the art I've seen
Yeah, these
recently is
opened.
all of the TV characters in the press releases. So I think you're right.
Uh yeah, these debuted on April 5th, 2024.
Maybe we just
Um,
pitched
so
the scenes in Star Tours from this at some point to each other.
we honestly might have. So these three, Andor, Ahsoka, and Mando, can show up as the
I want
urgent
to
message
escape
at
from
the
the space
beginning.
jail in Andor.
I That would be cool. Oh, man. How are we gonna fly through that? It's a prison.
We'll figure it out. Why is C3PO flying a plane?
I wonder if you have to take your shoes off for that one. Everybody in the Star Tours has to take their shoes off. Eventually, you always land. You deliver the Rebel Spy. I do kind of wish the Rebel Spy got something, even if it was like a little
Yeah.
paper crown or something like that that said Rebel
Or they
Spy.
get immediately
You
whisked
exit.
off of the ride vehicle and taken into a back
Let's
room.
go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, it's a great ride. It does not make me motion sick, Nick, and a lot of motion simulators will. How do you handle this
No
one?
problems at all.
Yeah, Katie. It's funny. Katie is infinitely better at like giant twisty roller coasters than me. This one always kind of fucks her up.
It makes sense if your like if you have sorry, I have an ace bandage on my foot and it's like riding and I got
Oh.
to fix that. But
Hmm.
so it I don't know, it's never really bothered me.
No, me neither.
One of my favorite
It
versions of
is
the
interesting.
ending is like even the individual endings have different variations. Like sometimes you like crash into stuff,
Hmm.
sometimes you land smoothly. There's one where you're pulling up to
Hmm.
a Naboo starfighter and you can't stop in
Hmm.
time. And sometimes you just like skid
Hmm.
to a halt right before it. But like every so often, you'll get one where they're the pointy ones. So they have a big pointy front. The pointy front pokes through the
Yes,
glass and shatters it, and it's one of the cooler 3D effects in a theme park.
I agree. The 3D here is used well, but there's something I want to talk about really quick, Nick. That I thought you might get a kick out of. So when they upgraded it to the next. The adventures continue. I keep calling it the adventure continues. They didn't just add scenes, they didn't just update the queue and stuff. They also upgraded like the actual vehicle mechanics. But so two things I think are funny. You originally in Star Tours rode, what was it called? The Star Speeder? Yes, the Star Speeder 3000. But since technically they introduced the prequels, you are now in the Star Speeder 1000 because they went back in time, even though you could still, I don't know. I think that's very funny. But I think you'll get a kick out of the system they introduced. So it uses the same hydraulic motion based cabin, which is the thing that simulates the stuff for you. But they added a little more, patented as the Advanced Technical Leisure Application
Atlas.
Simulator.
Yeah, I read
Atlas.
about this.
Yeah, which is such a cool name. I don't, it sounds. It also sounds like something you'd find on the
Yeah,
Star Wars
Atlas.
or
When
the
you say
Star
that
Trek
Atlas
holodeck.
has 6 degrees of freedom, you sound like, boy, I cannot wait to go to fucking this rally tonight.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been reading. What do you call it? Oh God, what is that? Atlas Shrugged. You're going to become a hardcore libertarian. I also didn't realize that Michael Giacchino, what the guy from The Incredibles
And
soundtrack,
many others.
used arrangements of the. That's what I know him from the most. Various use of the Star Wars themes for this. What a good
Yeah, he's
composer
great.
that guy is. Yeah, there's not too much more to talk about with the refurb. I mean, the fact that they added all of these scenes is really really cool. Um, it also Nick in 2020 it received a single rider line, so
That's cool.
it's fun. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty great. Oh, let's talk about really quick just before we wrap it up. This ride does occupy a strange space because it existed far before Galaxy's
And it
Edge did.
still does, which I'm really surprised about. I'm happy, but I am surprised.
I I don't think it would be feasible to move it, right? You'd have to do it all
Yeah,
over again.
people talked about like, oh, why don't they just move it to another park or another area? It's just you can't. It's just it doesn't work like that. But I'm surprised it really hasn't been rethemed into something else. Because we didn't even talk about at Disney World, the queue for this is really cool. Harkening back to an era where it was a park about how the movies were made. The exterior of this queue is a giant Endor movie set. So there's a
Oh
big
yeah,
AT-AT
there
that sprays
is.
mist and trees and
There's
logs,
a
but when
land
you
speed.
go through the queue and get to the backside of the trees, you see that it's all a facade, and the trees only have like one
Yes.
side, and there's like rigging and stuff behind it. It's an interesting
Hmm.
little.
You can take a picture on a not a land speeder. What are the motorcycles called?
They are speeder bikes. It's not there anymore
Speeder bikes.
though.
You can take a picture of a
I
speeder
have to
bike.
find the
No.
there is a series of pictures of me since I was young taking a picture on that
Hmm.
every trip, and I got to find them
That's so
because
cute.
that's a good one.
There's also a very. We'll talk about it another day. There's a very interesting show that takes place right outside of this,
Not anymore.
which is the Star. Is it totally
Yeah, it hasn't
gone?
been there in a while.
Oh, Nick, I thought that one was our calling. I didn't want to do it, but if there was one that you and I should have done, it was that one.
I did audition for that at one point.
Me too. I think we both did,
I
didn't
think it
we?
was I went in on my own for like an in-person call for that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm
listen, we
sorry,
have to
it is
send
listed
you
as
on your Star
temporarily
Tour.
unavailable, but it's been temporarily unavailable for a couple years.
We have to send you on your personal life Star Tour in what, four
Give or take.
minutes? So, Nick, in closing, I love Star Tours. I think it's a great ride. I love that they keep adding stuff to it. I have a lot of complaints about Star Wars content, but I'll take any Star Wars
If you
content
could
over any
add
Star Wars
any
content.
sequence or scene to Star Tours, what would it be?
Do you have one you want to talk about? Because I want to
Yeah,
think for a
I
sec.
want. Okay, so picture this. You take off. There's a rebel spy on board.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, we need to go somewhere
Uh-huh.
safe where we can hide. I know someone, Master. We land on Coruscant? Oh no, but wait.
But that's
We're
so
not
weird.
going to where the Jedi temple is. We're not going to the Senate building. No, we're going lower. We're going
Smells
deeper.
smells like breakfast
That's
food is
right.
being. Does anybody
We're
else smell
stopping
that?
at Dex's Diner. We get whisked into Dex's Diner. How is the fucking plane fitting in there? I don't know.
It smashes through. Like I say, it makes its own booth seating.
We'll figure it out. Dex says, I don't know. I have something. I have an idea. Go talk to so-and-so at this.
That's not what he
I can't do
sounds
his voice
like.
right now. My voice is tired. Go talk to so-and-so at this bar. And they go, okay. And then you go to a bar and you go and you again.
You loudly and slowly back.
And then you go land in the bar. Someone comes up and tries to sell you death sticks. And then you do
They pipe a little cigarette smoke into the
the
ride.
Coruscant chase, and you almost assassinate Natalie Portman, and then you take back off, and you go to Babu Frick land. I forget what his planet is called, but Babu Frick and his friend Zori Bliss, who is played by the very
Mhm.
beautiful woman who is the daughter of someone famous.
That
Oh,
narrows
shut
it
up.
down. That narrows it down really well for me.
Zori Bliss is played
Is
by
it-
Kerry Lynn Russell, who is Kurt Russell's daughter.
Oh
Yeah,
my God,
Kerry Russell.
really?
And
love
I'm pretty sure it's his daughter. Wife? No. No, she's
Kerry
too
Russell.
young and
No,
beautiful.
he's married to Goldie
So anyway,
Hawn.
then Kerry Russell joins you, and she says, "You've done such a good job, soldier. How can I reward you?" And then Babu Frick pops
And she
up and
gives you a
says, "Hey,
kiss.
hey!" Babu Frick crawls up your butt while Zori Bliss kisses you on the mouth. And it's only me on the ride, and Paul Rubens is there.
Well, I was reading a Wikipedia article. First of all, Kerry Russell is not even remotely related to
Really?
Kurt Russell. Not even a little bit.
Well,
Also,
fuck
I was
me
trying to
then.
read that when the you know what? I was gonna do a thing about the Star Wars Holiday Special. I'd rather end on yours. You, Paul Rubens, and a empty theater.
Rest in
can all
peace, Paul Rubens,
enjoy
by the
this.
way. R.I.P., man.
I hope your joystick's gripping in heaven. Now, yeah, hey man, I like Star Tours. I don't like that image in my head, but I think is this your first podcast?
Well,
'Cause
it's
it sure is mine.
totally mine too.
All right, no, come on, man. I'm gonna put a no JoJo Siwa rule going forward.
Okay, fine. If we can't have JoJo, we need to at least have I don't know, someone else who's annoying and contemporary.
Hold on. I need to look up one thing, and then we're done. I need to know if this is real. I don't even like typing this
Okay,
in.
so after you
Um,
take off from Dex's Diner, you land in JoJo Siwa's podcast. And you
Okay, it's not real. Thank God. Okay, never
what
mind.
was it?
It's not real. I'm okay. Never mind. That tweet. I keep seeing that tweet circulating that just titled "JoJo Siwa states pornography is so fucking cool" or whatever, and it made me violently ill to read it, and I had to look it up. And there's apparently Snopes articles because so many people were like, "This cannot be true," right? And you know what? I'm really happy to say it's not.
That's fantastic. Dream sequence on Star Tours? I don't know. Let's get spicy. Dexter Jetster?
Pop it. Okay. Good night, everybody. May your tours to the
Follow
space
us on
be
social
safe and
media
may your
at
rebels-
cticketpod on Instagram, Twitter, and I don't know, TikTok.
Taking my
Shoot us
headphones
an
off.
email, cticketpod@gmail.com, and don't forget to
I don't know
subscribe
what
to our
he's saying. Take my
Patreon
headphones
if
off.
you would like to get more bullshit like this. $2 a month to join our Discord, $5 if you want 2 bonus episodes every month. We just talked about Primeval Whirl, and we got some other fun stuff coming up this month, so stick around. We love you all, and may the Force see with you.